Hey there, Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen, leading the movement for movement and bringing you another edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday training, where I take a concept, a strategy, something that we use in autism fitness programming to the great success and results of our autism and neurodivergent life skill athletes and bring it to you so that you have greater workability and success in your own fitness and adapted PE programs. And of course, before I get started, like, subscribe, and share these videos with someone for whom it might make a difference in their lives and in the lives of others, because fitness is the gateway towards independence and greater quality of life. And of course, second thing, if you're ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro, head on over to autismfitness.com. You can download the course syllabus and learn all about the 3 levels of Autism Fitness certification, plus our new site certification program. So in this Autism Fitness Tuesday training, I was wondering what concept and strategy that I wanted to cover. And then I was thinking about a session that I had just the other day with one of my younger athletes. And he's reinforced by having a little bit of variety and adding some creativity, some stories, some different activities within the fitness session. And I was thinking that it's a really good example of goal setting, structure, staying on track, and also being able to analyze and assess movement as well. And all of these things will culminate in some interesting and helpful outcomes towards the end of this. So my athlete, he is on the younger side of the athletes that I work with. So he's just about 13 now. And he really likes to add in different silly things into the session. So we put the word pizza next to every exercise on the dry erase board, and we have a bird that we call the burp chicken. Yes, the burp chicken on top of the on top of the program. So he likes to add a little bit of silliness to it, and oftentimes he will decide that he wants to add another activity. So of course, as a practice, we can add in a reinforcer following the completion of an exercise or a set of a couple of exercises. Fine, no problem, generally speaking. And so the other day he decided that he wanted to set up an obstacle course. Of course, we're working in a small commercial gym, so there's access to equipment that I may not necessarily use, but it's out there. And rather than say, "Oh, we can't touch this, and you can't use this piece of equipment," so all right, during your break time, you can take out this stability ball, and we can take out the cones, and we can take out the hurdles, and some other things that, again, we're not using in the program, but they are reinforcing for him. And he starts building this obstacle course, and I have to say it was pretty elaborate as well. Like, it was a really cool obstacle course. He had hurdles in front, and then he had a plyometric box that was pretty tall, and then he put down a couple of sandbells and then a couple of balance pods. And I'm thinking, all right, this is creative and it's reinforcing, and it's something that he can do for entertainment and enjoyment in between sets of exercises. Because my primary goal for this athlete, of course, is, especially in his particular case, is strength, getting him stronger, because he tends to present with that classic floppiness, difficulty with motor control. So he doesn't need flexibility, and he doesn't need more mobility. He needs strength in these movements. So we spend 99% of the session on pushes, pulls, squats, band pull downs, heavy carries, sled pushes, all of these being purposeful in getting him stronger through the movement that he already has. So when I'm watching him do the obstacle course, he's stepping over the hurdles, and then he's crawling on the stability balls also. So he the balance pods. He didn't want to step on the balance pods because he felt unstable. And so he wanted to get down into crawling position and crawl across them, because obviously that the crawling is going to be more stable than just walking across them. And this, from the analytical or the assessment perspective, and I've been working with this athlete for a few months now, this was really interesting to me because it demonstrated how he navigates not necessarily different terrain, but different physical obstacles. And mind you, he put this obstacle course together himself. So he's showing me, even though he's motivated to participate in this obstacle course that he built for himself, that he still is not yet able to optimally transverse or navigate the obstacle course. Certainly crawling across, and it wasn't that he wanted to crawl across. I could see the hesitation when he started to step on that balance pod. He wanted to get down into a much more stable position rather than walk across. Now, here's another thing that I find interesting. He went around the box rather than crawl up on it. And again, he put the box out there. The box was about 28 inches high. He walked around the box. So again, things that would take more strength and stability are things that he was avoiding, even though he was the one putting together the obstacle course here. Again, it's a great opportunity for me to assess his movement and his willingness to do something that is more challenging, i.e., climb the box rather than go around it. I didn't give him any of these directions. This was his thing while he was on a break as well. And I think there are numerous interesting points here and takeaways. And we can look at it from the PAC profile perspective, so physical, adaptive, and cognitive. But I think it's also important to look at it from the perspective of someone watching it as well. So if someone were watching, and this is what was the impulse for me to do this, for this particular Tuesday training, anybody watching that would probably say, oh, that's really cool. This coach has put together this obstacle course for this athlete for fitness purposes, when it was kind of the other way around. The athlete put together the obstacle course more for fun and enjoyment. Certainly it was physical activity purposes, and I was just, an observer here, waiting to see what he would do with it, and then come back and do the strength exercises. And so for somebody watching, they might say, oh, that looks really fun, and it's really cool, and what a great way. I'm just supposing here, but what a great way to incorporate, all different movement patterns. Here's the issue. The exact movement patterns that he would need to be powerful and strong and stable in the obstacle course that he built were not present, because he needs the strength that we're building in our more structured programming. So it's another example, and I know I talk about this a lot on this channel, it's another example of why programming and exercise selection and volume, sets and repetitions, and modifying the exercise appropriately, it's another compelling example of why this is so important, and not just having random exercises and random movement patterns are going to build skills. And I think especially with fitness programming or physical activity, it's easy to forget that if we want particular outcomes, we need to use particular strategies. And that's the whole field of exercise science distilled down. So when I'm watching this athlete as a trained coach and observer, I'm seeing, okay, where is this athlete compensating? What strategies is he using to navigate around rather than over this box? What's happening when he's stepping over the hurdles? All of these things that someone else, and no fault of their own, might miss, but take away, oh, there was this great, obstacle course with a bunch of different activities. If we are looking at fitness outcomes for our athletes, then we really have to take into account the structure of a program and understand that there are aspects that we need to implement in order for those outcomes, i.e. a training effect. The athlete gets stronger, more stable, moves better. There are certain things that we have to satisfy there. Now we can talk about the interaction between the need to get dones and then reinforcers, or things that the athletes do. This is why we utilize the pre-MAC principle, or when-then type of contingencies for our athletes, because if we were just doing the obstacle course for the full 50 minutes of that session, might have been fun for most of the time, but would it satisfy the needs that that athlete has in terms of his current strength and stability deficits? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen by osmosis. It's not going to happen automatically. It's not going to occur simply because one thing is more motivating and reinforcing than another thing. We need to have this structural programming structural balance between the things that we need to get done and the things that are reinforcing for our athletes. Now, of course, not all athletes are going to need an elaborate reinforcement setup like an obstacle course. This is something that this athlete decided that he wanted to do in the moment, and he may never do it again, but we still needed to utilize that time wisely. And in order to, again, get the outcomes that he's going to need to thrive, to be more independent, to be able to get over that box instead of around it, there are exercises that we need to get done at a certain amount, volume, sets, and repetitions. So using contingencies here is a great way to satisfy the programming needs of those strength exercises and keep the athlete motivated as well and engaged in the session, because we never want to utilize have-to language like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, because that's not going to be sustainable for the athlete, and they are probably not going to develop a healthy and motivated relationship with physical fitness. So we don't want to utilize, oh, you need to do this now and you need to do this. We can do it a little more personably with our athletes, and that's where timers can be great. And all right, 1 more minute with the obstacle course, and then we'll come back and you've got your 3rd set of band pull downs. So we want to make it conversational. We want to enable the athlete to have ownership over it while still getting the things done that we need to get done. So a couple of important takeaways here. Number one, that the athlete still needs the programming that they need. Of course, that's mainly going to be the strength and stability exercises and repetition with them, especially when they're doing a modified variation of that exercise. We want to ensure that the athlete is reinforced, so yeah, they can build their obstacle course or have their game on the side, or play around with a piece of equipment as long as it's safe. But that's not the session. The session is the thing that we do, as a professional, as a certified pro, to deliver on that training effect so the athlete is getting stronger, more stable, and generalizing those skills to activities of daily living. So all 3 of the PAC skills, the physical, the adaptive, the cognitive, are accounted for so that the athlete feels like they are an active participant in their own programming, and we as professionals, delivers of programming, can deliver on what we're doing as a service, which is fitness programs that are truly meaningful and effective for our athletes. I'd love to know what you think of this. Put your comments in the comment section below. Happy to answer them. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday training, put that in the comments below also. You can have 1 post with 2 comments. It's extraordinary. And if you're ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro anywhere in the world, you can go to autismfitness.com, learn more, register, begin your coursework today. I'm Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen, leading the movement for movement. Thank you for watching.